says mode is trim. The fillet in the chamfer command has a trim or no trim mode. 99% of the time you want trim, which basically means AutoCAD is going to trim or extend the objects to create that tangent fillet. So we're going to set our radius to 0.25. So if I click on the radius, set that to 0.25, then that sets the radius until we change it. The fillet command does not auto-repeat. So if you do one corner, it terminates. So there's an option down here that says multiple. If you click on that, then the command will just sit there and repeat until you hit escape. So what we're going to do here is we're going to fillet the tops of these basically two boxes. And the way this command works is you pick the edge that you want to keep. So if I click on this one, highlight this one, you'll notice it gives you a preview of that fillet. Now if I hover over on this side, it goes in the opposite direction. So you want to make sure you click on the edge that you want to keep. And you'll notice that it trims those lines so that that fillet falls into place. So we want to do the tops of these two boxes. Now on the bottom two corners, I want to square them off. When you pick your first object, on the next prompt it says select second object or shift select to apply corner. So if I hold down my shift key, I can square those off. But this, if you've got to do a lot of square corners, you can hold your shift key down on the first and second prompt. Just hold it down all the time. And then I want to come over here and trim those up. In older versions of AutoCAD, we always had to change our fillet radius back to 0. Now we just hold down the shift key to create those fillets. We can do fillets between circles. So if I click two circles, I can get a fillet. That's the same as drawing a circle, tangent, tangent, radius, and then trimming it. It's just faster. Now if you pick two circles and you get an error message that says no valid fillet with 0.25. What's the problem? Why isn't a radius of 0.25 valid? Too far apart, exactly. Yeah, so if you see that message, you know what the issue is. So, do these two. You can do a fillet between a line and a circle. But on a circle, you have to pick which side you want it to go to. I'm going to go to both, which means I'm going to do it twice. You can do a fillet between a line and a polyline. If you do, it joins the line to the polyline. So if I click this polyline and click this line, it will actually add that fillet with a tapered fillet. So basically, if it's 1 inch, it goes from 1 to 0. So just be careful when you're joining a line to a polyline with fillet. One of my favorite ways of using fillet is with parallel lines. With parallel lines, it will actually round off or cap off the lines with a half circle. So I could come in here and create something that looks like the head of a screwdriver by just filleting parallel lines. Now, if you're filleting parallel lines and all of a sudden your line shoots off your page 400 feet, you know one line is off. They're not, even if it's like, yeah, they're not parallel, and I've seen that. If you know, I've had them go off 400 feet, and then at the end there's this little 1/4 inch radius. So be careful about that. So, and the way this works is the first line you pick determines the length of it. So that means this one will be extended. If I click here and here, that will be trimmed. I want to go from there to there. Now, there's one other use of fillet, is I can use one of the options that they have called polyline. If you choose polyline, it will fillet every corner of that polyline. So if I use the option polyline, you'll notice that it highlights all four corners. If I come over here and highlight this line, it highlights all the corners except for one, because it doesn't fit. You know, if I've got a 2/4 inch fillet, that line has to be at least a 1/2 inch long, or it won't fit. So I'm going to use the polyline option, pick that one, and get all of them. If you want to fillet just one corner of a polyline, just pick the 2 edges. So you can still do one edge or one corner of a polyline. But if you want to do all of them, use the polyline option. For some reason, I do not have one for chamfer. So I'll use this one to demonstrate chamfer. A chamfer is a beveled corner. It uses the same trim mode as fillet. So you'll notice at the beginning it says trim mode. But with a chamfer, you've got to do a couple of things. You can specify the 2 distances, or you could use an angle method. So right now my distance is set to 0.5, 0.5. So if I pick both edges, it will create a chamfer, basically a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. I'm going to change my distances to 0.25. Now, if both distances are the same, it's a 45-degree angle. But they don't have to be the same. I could say I want a 1 inch, well, so let's do 0.5 on one side and 0.25 on the other. Now, when you have 2 different distances, the first line you pick is distance 1, the second line you pick is distance 2. The other way to apply a chamfer is with an angle. Angle requires a distance and an angle. You go to angle, it's going to ask you for that first distance. I'm going to enter 0.5, and I want it 10 degrees. So the first side you pick is the distance, and then the second side is 10 degrees. So that measures over 1/2 inch and then goes up at 10 degrees. We use chamfers quite a bit. And chamfer also has a polyline option, just like the fillet command does. Any questions so far?